Good morning, CSL family. I'm Jeannie Looper Smith. It's Halloween, and Grease is the word. But when it comes to our 7 core values here at CSL and the words that represent them, Grease didn't make the cut. However, some other really great words did. They are love, healing, oneness, abundance, spiritual growth, service, and diversity. Today, we're digesting a dish of abundance. We are one in spirit, heart, soul, and mind, a connection that goes to the core of our divinity. But does that mean that we are all just alike? A resounding no. We all show up as individual expressions of spirit in an abundance of ways. That uniqueness is the personal perspective we each have on the world, our own particular take on things. My mother often thought that the way she did things and saw the world was the only way to do or see things. She used to say that there is only one way to eat a hamburger, with pickle, mustard, and onion. Really? I think the flavor of life is so much richer when we each bring to the table the abundance of choices regarding how to do anything. There's no need to make the ketchup and lettuce or the mayonnaise and tomato hamburger eaters wrong and bad. Some time ago, I watched a documentary on Netflix about the Funk Brothers. That's F-U-N-K, Funk. And they were the mostly unknown members of the house band that was responsible for the Detroit Motown sound. And they played without much recognition on most of the monster 1960s Motown hits. In this documentary, Joan Osborne, a contemporary artist, sang some of the most well-known Motown cover hits with the Funk Brothers. That led to my adding Joan and them to our Amazon artists. Because of that, I got to hear Joan Osborne's take on Midnight Train to Georgia. Now, everybody knows that Gladys Knight, with some peppy help from the Pits, had the hit recording of that song. And for certain, it's a classic. But when Joan popped up on Amazon singing a more nuanced version of that song, I heard Midnight Train differently. The lyrics spoke to me in a fresh, new way. And for me, Joan Osborne's approach to the song was spectacularly sensitive and seductive. Out of nowhere, Amazon and Joan Osborne delivered an epiphany, and there wasn't a pip in sight. Connected though we are at the heart, mind, soul, and spirit, whether we're singing Midnight Train to Georgia or eating a hamburger, there's more than one way to take a bite out of the world. Move over mustard, pass the ketchup. There are an abundance of spicy ways to do just about everything. Our core value today is abundance, sprinkled with just a dusting of diversity.
Well, good morning, CSL. Happy Halloween. that's enough. I'm Cowboy Chris, and I'm going to teach you a lesson today. I'm going to teach you. You have no idea how happy my husband is today. I want to begin by telling you a story that's probably inappropriate for a Sunday morning, but this is CSL, and you don't look that delicate to me, so I think you'll be able to handle it. The story is about a mischievous little boy sitting in church, trying to keep his attention, trying to listen to the preacher's message, but he's just bored to death. It takes place in a small town that has just hired a brand new minister in this church, and it's his first Sunday. Now, unbeknownst to his mother, the little boy has taken her knitting needle with him to church that day, and he's sticking the woman in front of him, in the seat in front of him, in the butt. So you get the picture. Now, this young minister wants to test the congregation just to see how well they are in Scripture and how much they know about their teaching, so he's asking them questions. And he begins his sermon with 3 questions, each growing more difficult as they go along. The first question, he says, is easy. He asks, "Who is our Father?" And little boy sticks the woman, and she stands up and she says, "God." And the preacher says, "That is right. Very, very good." Now this question's a little bit more difficult. "Who is our Savior?" And little boy sticks the woman, and the woman stands up and says, "Jesus Christ." And the preacher's very, very happy now. He says, "Yes, that's correct. Jesus is our Savior." And the woman is very pleased because now she's getting all this attention from the church and from the pastor. And he says, finally, the third question is the most difficult, so pay close attention and listen carefully. The preacher asks, "What did Eve say to Adam after she had his 49th child?" And the little boy sticks the woman, and the woman stands up and yells out, "Good God, you stick that thing in me one more time and I'll break it." I told you it was inappropriate. But you stayed and you listened. Now, you've heard me say this before, but it bears saying again. Wherever there is joy and laughter, God is present. We bring God to the world and heaven to earth when we laugh, when we experience joy in life. And that's important to remember because my lesson today is your reminder that your life is supposed to be a joyful adventure, not a struggle that you fight to survive and not a burden that you bear to overcome. You are not here to work hard, pay your dues, and learn lessons. Contrary to popular New Age belief, life is not a school and it is not a prison. It is the Father's good pleasure. So it says, you are here for the sheer delight of your Creator, who designed your DNA, gave you a body, breathed its life into your spirit, and set you free to discover yourself. You are here in this life to have fun, to be in love, and to celebrate the adventure of being a spiritual being temporarily housed in a physical body. And we forget that. All of us do, me included. I get stuck in my workaday schedule and keep my nose to the grind and forget that my life isn't just about getting things done and crossing tasks off a to-do list. It's easy to do with all of our adult responsibilities. It's easy to forget what we instinctively knew as a child, that play should always come first and having fun should always be priority one. So with that in mind, I made a list of 3 things that we can do to cultivate more joy in our lives. And I want to share it with you this morning. His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, said the purpose of life is to be happy. So we're going to use that as our guide today as we progress over these 3 things that we can find more joy in living. Number 1, do more of what brings you joy. Sounds simple, sounds like a no-brainer. Do more of what brings you joy. But as I said earlier, it's easy to get stuck in the workaday world of being an adult and forget to spend time with people that make you laugh. And you forget to do things that actually make you happy. And I don't know whether you've noticed this or not, but in our world, negativity is very alluring and it's very intoxicating, especially with there's so much of it being on social media these days. Before you know it, you're scrolling through a news feed and you're watching some video or you're reading something and you feel really angry. You feel really furious, and then you start to feel hopeless. Facebook's own research says its algorithms are written for engagement, not truth. They want to keep you on their platform at all costs, even if it means feeding you. It's called a news feed for a reason, even if it means feeding you false information and outrageous content that is intent on making you mad or engaging your senses. Sometimes I think AI is the enemy here. The artificial intelligence that's programming us to keep watching with the algorithms, even though what we're watching is toxic to our spirit. So if you find yourself feeling upset and angry from what you're seeing on social media, stop looking. Stop looking. Put the cell phone down and go do something that brings you joy. And then spend more time doing that thing that brings you joy than you do on social media platforms that aren't making you happy. Now, they're not all bad. I mean, sometimes I'm on Facebook or I'm on TikTok and I'm watching silly, stupid videos that make me laugh. So if you're using it to bring you joy, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You just have to exercise your freedom to choose. And when it comes to a choice, and when in doubt, always choose joy. Always choose the thing that makes your heart sing. Now, I don't know what that is for you, what makes your heart sing. But for me, it's listening to music. Ever since I was a little boy, I had a radio in my room. Music makes me happy because music can take me places that my mind can't schedule. Flowers, nature. I buy fresh flowers and keep them in my house so that every time I look in my house, there's beauty, there's nature, there's color, there's texture. That brings me joy. I don't know what it is for you, but whatever it is that brings you joy, do more of that. And do more of it every day. Don't do, as society tells you, what you're supposed to do and work 50 weeks out of the year so that you can spend 2 weeks on vacation doing something fun. Make every day count. Because your spirit cannot wait any longer. You know what? It's always knocking at your door, at the door of your mind, like a child that comes to your door that says, "Can you come out and play now? Can you come out and play now?" Say, "Yes, yes, I can come out and play." That's number one. Do more of what brings you joy. Number two. Be grateful for what you've got. Research shows that the happiest people are the ones that spend time each day counting their blessings. And that's because they stay focused on what they have. They're focused on what's working and what's good in their lives and how happy they are to have it. I have a friend who's got every reason to be unhappy these days. About 6 months ago, he was diagnosed with an extremely rare form of cancer that is in his left eye. I've never heard of this before, and the doctor said they never heard it either. It's completely rare. And he didn't know this was happening until his vision started to become impaired. Now, after multiple studies with doctors and doctor's appointments, they determined that the cancer is localized, so it's not life-threatening. But he's having to undergo months and months and months, and this might be a 2-year process, months and months and months of chemo to shrink the tumor in his eye. They can't operate on it because he'll lose the eye. Now, this guy's a bodybuilder, so he is not accustomed to being vulnerable physically. 6 months in to this therapy, he's upset. He can't work out at the gym. He's lost 50 pounds. He's nauseous all of the time. This week I talked to his wife, who's crazy. He's driving her crazy because he's so miserable. She said, "Oh my God, he complains all of the time. He's so unhappy." And when she told me the story of what she did this week to wake him up out of his misery, here's what it was. They were both in the car on the way to the grocery store because he can't drive, so she has to drive. And when they pull into the parking lot, they pull right next to a handicap space. And as she pulled in, she saw this man pull his van into the handicap space right next to them. He was alone. So he had to find some way to get out of the driver's seat, get in his wheelchair, before he could actually go into the store to buy his groceries, which is a long process for some handicapped people. So she's noticing this as she's pulling in. Her husband opens the car door to get out of the car, and she says, "Shut the door. Wait. We're going to sit here, and we're going to watch this man. I want you to see his life." She said, I timed it. It took him 30 minutes to get out of his car, to get into his wheelchair, and to go in that store to go shopping. 30 minutes. She's sitting in the car with her husband, and she said to him, "Look, he's alone. He doesn't have anybody to help him, and he's doing fine. You have a wife and children who love you. What do you have to complain about? You should be grateful." And he started crying. The truth is, no matter how hard you think you've got it, you can always find someone who's not doing quite as well as you are. Look around, people. All you have to do is look around to see how blessed you are. You bring greater joy to your life when you take time to be grateful for all the good that's in your life today, and get this, for the good that's on its way to you in your life. Because trust me, in a universe that is created by love, there is more good just ahead on your path. Remember that the next time you start feeling sorry for yourself, a greater good always lies ahead of you. So that's number 2. Be grateful for what you've got. And finally, number 3 is find something to give. Let me ask you a question. What's it going to take, really, seriously? What's it going to take to make you happy? How much money do you need before you can say, "I have enough, I'm happy now"? How much weight do you feel like you have to lose and get your body in shape for you to say, "I'm happy now"? What woman, what man do you have to convince to love you before you can say, "I have love in my life, I've got somebody, now I'm happy"? When you focus on what you're trying to get out there from somebody or from the world, you will never, ever have enough. No amount will ever satisfy you. You will always want more, 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 more. You see, even though it is a right guaranteed by the United States Constitution, the pursuit of happiness is a fool's folly. Because joy, my friends, isn't something that you can get outside yourself from somebody else. It is literally the essence of who you are. It's inside of you. The life coach and the spiritual guru, Tony Robbins, said the secret to living is giving. So it's in giving where you experience the most joy. Find someone to give to. Find a cause that you can support. Give here to CSL, to your spiritual family, to your home. And if you can't give money, what difference does it make? Give your attention. Give your time. Give your heart. Give your love. If you want more joy, stop looking for what you can get from life and start giving something to it. Here's the recap. Number 1, do more of what brings you joy. Number 2, be grateful for what you've got. Number 3, find something to give. Who can forget the immense joy that you felt in the holidays as a child, waking up on Christmas morning or any morning of the holiday that your family celebrated, super, super, super excited to see what gifts were awaiting you and what special holiday treats were being cooked in the kitchen? Children know how to do joy. They don't need those 3 easy steps. It just comes naturally. So let me ask you now, how long has it been? How long has it been since you felt that joyful? How long has it been since you've been really happy? And if it's been a long time for you, who took your joy from you? Who took it? And when did you give it away? For most of us, it doesn't happen overnight. It didn't happen one day. Someone took our joy. We lost it all quickly. It happens little by little, day by day. The drudgery of human life can wear you down. Paying bills, doing laundry, raising kids, the stresses of modern life, all of it, I'm telling you, can suck the joy right out of you. If you let it. You see, that's what we forget. We let it happen. The truth is, you're the one that decides whether your life is going to be a joyful adventure or not. Don't let anyone else decide that for you. Protect this center of joy around you in your heart. Guard it as if your life depended upon it. Because it does. It does. In our teaching, we have a lot of words for God: creative intelligence, spirit, love, infinite mind, joy, ease, peace. All of these describe what we call the infinite. But I like to think of God as a warm fire on a cold, dark night. The fire's always there, and the fire's always burning. And the closer that you get to the fire, the brighter and the warmer your life becomes. And the further that you get away from the fire, from the choices that you made consciously or unconsciously, the darker and the colder your life becomes. Your job is to stay close to the fire, to stay close to spirit. Don't let the mundane activities of human life steal your joy, because God is always there, and joy is always, always the right choice. You just have to choose it. And so ends the lesson. Life is such a blessing and such a gift. And the center of joy that we are born with, you can witness online and watch babies giggle and laugh before they even have a language to express their thoughts. The joy lives in their hearts. We are born with it. It comes into life with us. We just forgot. Let's take this time to close our eyes and be still and reconnect with that center of joy that lives in our heart. Let's go there now.
I breathe out, I breathe in, I am still, I go within. When I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find. Spirit meets me there. Spirit meets me there.
What's it going to take to make you happy? What choices do you have to make to return your heart to joy? What do you have to stop doing? What do you have to start doing? Who do you have to give more time and attention to? Who do you have to withdraw your time and attention from? All of these questions can be answered from within. No one on the outside can answer them for you. You already know the answers. There's a knower inside of you that can answer them. You are pre-programmed for joy. If you will just make the right choices. Let's be still now and listen to the answers to those questions. We must become as little children. We must return our hearts back to the joyful heart of a child, waking up on a holiday morning, awaiting something good. Something good is going to happen. Something great is going to be received in my life. Something wonderful is going to be in this next day. Joyful anticipation of a child return home. And so it is.
Stillness I find. Spirit meets me there. Spirit meets me there.
So we close as we always do our service with this affirmation. You guys can stay up here with me. Do you mind?
Yes.
All right. Would you say it with me, please? Oh, come on, you can do better. Joy is my natural state. I am grateful for all that I have. Let's know this together. We are surrounded, embraced, and immersed in the joyful heart of Spirit. The intention of life itself is to experience all the good that there is. We are created by joy for joy. Let's push the reset button right now in our lives to return home to our hearts, return home to joy. Let's make the difficult and sometimes even more challenging decisions that will put us back on course, back close to that fire, which is God at the center of our lives, that joy that lives in our heart. Let's do those things with faith and with trust that the greater good is always ahead of us, always ahead. We are thankful for this day and grateful for all that it brings and all the good that's here now and the good that's on its way. And so it is. Thank you, CSL. Happy Halloween. See you next Sunday. Thank you for watching, and thanks for supporting CSL. If you'd like to know more about us, check us out on our website or social media. Blessings.